Hey ladies and gentlemen, how you guys been doing? It's your boy Izini here, and today I want to talk about Pokemons that were recently announced, the games you may have actually seen, being showcased in a trailer, and I've actually made a vote on Twitter, and people were, to my surprise, people still wanted to see my opinion, my little bit of a ramble, as you may, regarding the games that were showcased. There was like, I believe, 11 votes, and I had an option of yes or fuck no, fuck off, and I guess nobody wanted to fuck me off. I don't know. People seem to wanna still value my time put onto this and hear what I have to say, which I will do just about that now. Anyways, basically, the trailer that was announced and showcased exposed 8th generation Pokemons. It also exposed a little bit of gameplay, a little bit of the world of Pokemon, and you've seen reactions of people. Some people were like over the top. It was, oh my god, this map is ginormous. Some people were being more serious about it, being more critical regarding the designs of the Pokemons and whatnot, and how the starters' reactions seem to have very resemble similar features to the old official artwork of the starter Pokemon, which is kind of hilarious. But I can definitely kind of see why that is. But with that, I kind of want to go to the first semi-topic, we could say, regarding Pokemon that were showcased, and that is the stars that we saw. And we saw a grass starter by the name of Croaky. We had a flower starter by the name of Scorbunny, and water starter by the name of Subble. Subble reminds me of Mudkip, and I'm not a biggest fan of Mudkip. Croaky reminds me of Turtwig. Combination with Parrot regarding its structured mouth and nose, and combination of an ape to a certain extent. It's kind of strange. It looks like a koala Pokemon. But we got Scorbunny, which looks like just a rabbit, right? Just a rabbit with a bandage up here, and it looks like a bandage, but then again it has a bandage below its feet, so I guess it's not a bandage. But I'm pretty sure the Pokedex has to have something mentioning why that looks like a damn bandage. But or maybe he's been practicing so damn much, maybe he's been running so damn much, and probably like the slowest Pokemon in the Pokemon world, because he's moving on the bandage. Who knows? Maybe there's gonna be like an explanation of why he's so damn slow, or maybe he's the fastest Pokemon alive. Who knows? Anyways, I'm going too far into this. Basically, we got also description. Whether or not this is true or not, I cannot seem to say. Croaky has a mischievous chimp Pokemon that is full of boundless curiosity. Scorbunny has a description of rabbit Pokemon that is always running about, bursting with energy. Okay, I take that back. It seems that the Pokemon is gonna be a bit faster than I expect, and that is probably because he's been running so damn much. He's like his legs are looking freaking healing in bandages, man. A somewhat timid Subble description is somewhat timid water lizard Pokemon that shoots out attacks that is hidden itself in the water. So yeah, I guess the grass type, the water type, and the fire type kind of have been introduced. Now, regarding the resembling that people said was like a copy paste when it comes down to hands of Scorbunny and one of the other starters in the past, and I can see that why that is also, because we got over 800 Pokemon now, and it's gonna be hitting 1,000. That's a bit crazy. And when you think about it, how creations of new Pokemon are made, they are always inspired by past memories. As much as we want to deny, and as much as people are not aware, some of the artists are not, artists are very much aware of this, but there are people that are not much into art, and they do not understand this. But brains are not capable of, just a second, let me see if it's recording. Yes, it is. Brains are not capable of continuing creation. Basically, what I'm saying is that they're always going to be memorizing. If you're trying to create something new, you're gonna have a heavy chance of not being capable of creating something that is completely new, not inspired by anything in the past. Because how our brains work is that they memorize images through our past life, I mean, in our current life as we go, and eventually it's gonna be influencing the way we draw, the way we make stuff. So this is why you see, you know, Alien, for example, movies, one of the best horror movie thriller, you know, ever made, and it inspired so many games to have xenomorphs, or the little ones that impregnate you know, the basic people. There was so much inspiration in that a lot of people took their success and put it into their games by making something similar, and the idea of similarities and so forth. But it was also because high inspiration will also make something similar to the things they saw. This is why Pokemon are being remade after a certain animal or a certain fantasy animal that we see. You know, like, we cannot really. I mean, of course, everybody's entitled to their own opinion and how much something matters to him. In each generation, people see new Pokemons, and they always find that one Pokemon that just stands out as extremely uninspired, extremely that doesn't have enough juice, you know. And to that, all I can say is that we got Vanillix, I believe it's called, and we got Garbodor, which looks like a garbage Pokemon, but actually, it's, you know, when you think about it, yeah, it's not the most attractive Pokemon, it's not the most scary Pokemon either, it's definitely not the cutest Pokemon around, but its design, it's so complex, it's still so strange. While it looks like made of trash and all sorts of things, it's still so strange. It's different. It is different, and you cannot compare a Rattata to Garbodor, because a Rattata, it's a rat. A Pidgey, for example, if a person would say Pidgey is a better creative Pokemon than Garbodor, then I would actually debate that, because Pidgey looks like a bird, and you know, drawing a bird with a little bit of an anime figure is not that creative. And it's much easier to be inspired to make something like that than if we talk about something that is completely over the top, you know. As much as it can be disgusting, it's still, you know, it doesn't have to be charming, a very cool, epic Pokemon to say, okay, this one is more creative. For me, Garbodor, for example, well, it's not in my top 30, 40, 50. It's not one of those Pokemon that I've used, but out of examples that I speak right now, I think that it's more creative Pokemon out of the both. And each generation had its lack of creativity. I mean, we had some Pokemon that were over the top, man. Like, for example, I look back to third generation and I think of Pokemon that were really over the top, and that was Nidoking, Alakazam, Rhydon, Dragonite. Pidgeot's still a big bird. I mean, but it still look kind of cool as fuck with those that hairstyle back. You know, it's Super Saiyan, motherfucker. And Mega Pidgeot is kind of a bit more Super Saiyan, but it's just bulking up, man. That thing is bulking up like hell. And each generation had incredible Pokemon, Gyarados, for example. But then with each generation there was always that Pokemon that were just don't look that inspired. They just look strange. For example, we got one Pokemon that always stand out for me. I think the second generation had the most creative ones. I guess kind of hard to say. I think Sudowoodo is kind of different. It's definitely different. Tyranitar, over the top. Tyranitar design is freaking amazing. I seem to have something about you know, on 2 feet, looking like a Nidoking to a certain extent, but then just epic stand, just the design being very epic and very darkish and just very, I don't know, hard body, I guess I could say. But then again, we got Machamp, which is definitely not the most creative Pokemon. And then we had Haunter, which is amazing. I actually prefer Haunter's design than Gengar's. But yeah, that's because Haunter just resembles more of an actual horror ghost looking Pokemon than actual Gengar. Gengar looks a bit silly on 2 legs and all, but as a ghost, you know. You know, again, inspired by similar ideas, putting them up, mixing them up, and people will come up with some amazing stuff that you may not be familiar. And because you're not familiar with the design, you will see this as, whoa, this is amazing. But then you're going to see some of the other things that you're like, oh, this is very uninspired. Why? Because you are already familiar with that Pokemon's design. It's probably about an animal, and it's not that further away from the original animal's body shape, and this is why you will probably be underwhelmed by the design it has. Like, we got Hydreigon, which looks definitely something else, and I love it. We got a lot of Pokemon that look pretty cool. So each generation has its ups and downs regarding the Pokemon's creation, and I can definitely see why artists would struggle, especially the people that are involved in this, why they would struggle with the Pokemon they're making, because we're talking about a lot of Pokemon here, and being official Pokemon creators, Game Freak that it is, a lot of people will not have hard time to accept them as more of a, these are Pokemon, these are not fake mon because they're not fan-made, but at the same time, each generation has its ups and downs. So regarding stars, I see them as something acceptable. They're decent. If I would have picked one, this is the one generation I don't think I will know how to pick. First generation was Bulbasaur, second generation was Cyndaquil, Totodile was awesome also. Then it was, what was that, I believe Sceptile? No, Blaziken. After that it was Torterra. After that it was, Empoleon, I believe it was Empoleon, and so forth. So I had a mixed mash of typings that I've liked to use. Sometimes depending on the difficulty of the game and so forth. But looking at these designs, I'm okay with them. Now, the one thing that I've not been overwhelmed and I've been kind of underwhelmed is the graphics. Now, I've seen people reactions that were like over the top. Oh my god, this map is ginormous. Holy shit, my dick is erect. And the Pokemons are fucking fantastic looking. The graphics are so flashy. They're so delicious. And I was looking at the graphics and thinking, yeah, I saw this before. And the reason I'm saying this is because I'm familiar with the Dragon Quest series, and the graphics like this will not blow you away. I think that for the capabilities of Nintendo Switch, I always say Pokemon Switch, Nintendo Switch.
I do not own this console. I'm not too sure how well prepared this console is for handheld gaming on the go, but I can kinda be a little bit skeptical on their decision making to put this on Switch, on a home console instead of handheld, because since that never happened till now, and I'm not too sure if it's coming for 3DS. I hope it does, because that I think would pretty much bring in more sales. So it kind of be like a Monster Hunter series that they have on 3DS and they also have on their consoles at home. I think that would be a great idea, plus the extra expense would probably be rewarded with way more sales than they would have gotten if they only bring in the Switch. Now, they may actually expect more people to buy their Switch if they announce this only for one console. That depends. The older generation of people have probably more finances, and with that comes in high chance of buying. But whether or not this will sell it for me, I can't say. Right now, the game graphics are not over the top. I've seen better. Actually, it kind of is underwhelming because the way the animation worked, the way the Pokemon. Because I'm very critical when it comes down to this kind of things. I've been gaming. I've been in the graphic territory a bit regarding all the settings and all the stuff on the PC, and I've seen the way the animation worked, where the Pokeball was thrown and the way it was hitting the floor and the movement. It just feels like there's a static that is not connecting, and there's some sort of a lack of animation, do we say. And the environment may be pretty, but it still feels like a drawn back graphics compared to other games that really showcase their 3D. Now, is the 3D actual movement, like 360 movement, like we're talking spinning around the character completely, or is it restricted? Because that would make it not true 3D, it would make it a 2D, 3D sort of thing. And I'm not the biggest fan of that, because I think that kind of draws back the capabilities. And the console is very capable. It should be kind of like, I'm actually surprised they aren't taking the route of Zelda, the new Zelda game. I think that would be amazing. And the open world, actually having open world, that would sell it for me. Having an actual open world where you can decide which gym you take. and not go from one gym to next gym to third gym to no, but you actually decide which gym to take, or make something different out of it. I enjoyed the trials, but again, the trials were still set on specific levels, and you had to go here and here and here. And I guess one thing that would sell the Pokemon console for me, which I do not own yet, is having an open world, like a true open world, where you can just go to the champion, you can just go to the league, but they will fucking kick your ass from the start. I think that would open the options of replayability. That would open the options of and just general gimmicks and creativity that people would make while playing, but it seems to have still the restricted rules, and I get it. It's because the the younger generation is in. Kids are gonna keep on basically kids are still gonna be kids, and generational population is still gonna be rising up. There's gonna be new kids, new generation coming in, and Game Freak has to charm them in. They have to charm them in, and how they charm us in was basically giving us pretty much a similar format to this. It was just in 2D. And I'm very old school. I'm always into 8-bit, and all I can say is that 8-bit, man, it's something that I have hard time skipping past. All I can say about 8-bit retro is that if it was for me, I would love to stick with 2D. Looking down, not isometric, but looking down 2D, complete 2D sprites with animations, I guess, but that's it. Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. This 3D, I believe, since 3D was introduced, I think it kind of draws back the game for me, but it is what it is, and we just gotta stick to it. Now, for the newest generations coming in, for the old fans that are still looking forward to this, I hope you will enjoy this game. Now, whether or not this will sell for me still depends. The game is coming out on the end of 2019. Basically, up until then, I'm definitely gonna make my decision. If I do buy the console, right now I'm still finding ways to mark my ground with logos and all this stuff, financial stuff. I have to keep it steady and stable, so it's kind of hard to regard on here. But so that I'm gonna need to look it down, outside. But basically, the Pokemon, this didn't really hold my interest. Pokemon Shield and Pokemon Sword is also a very weak name, and the logos don't really are not extremely inspired. But then again, looking at it, logos are not important. The names are just there. People are making fun of that already, so I'm okay with it. Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield. The logos reminds me of Aegislash. So that's a thing, and I'm not too sure what the wolves stand for. I'm not too sure if there's legendary wolves on it, what that is gonna represent, probably. But yeah, it's skeptical. I'm a little skeptical about this. Did the game sold for me? As I mentioned, no, it did not. But I still gotta see more of it, and at the same time, I'm probably gonna buy it. I'm definitely eventually gonna buy it at the end of this year. And also, just to let you guys know, if I do buy it, I'm probably gonna buy a recording device for this, and with that, I'm hopefully gonna be able to bring you guys recording bells. So expect potentially maybe in 2020 to kind of get back to Pokemon bells. Now, that depends, Thing is, if I would have bought this, I would have definitely bought this for my YouTube channel more than anything. We will see. We will see how open this is, how complex it is. Now, I'm sure that the restriction, the map is big, but it's not something I have not seen before. Most of the maps were, kind of decent in size, and the Pokemon games are, by general, longer games, so that's always nice. But till now, the trailer did not really blow my mind. It's something I was kind of expecting. If anything, graphics were just underdeveloped for me. And yeah, just still being open to change my mind and being completely focused. But that really depends on the competitive. They did not change the format, I'm seeing, at least from the battles a little bit. I did not see anything like a fusion option, or like real fusions. That would be amazing. Or maybe an additional statistic, like some statistic we did not have. Like second generation introduced special defense. that changed a lot of things. I believe, no, it was the third generation that introduced special defense, right? Or was it the second? No, actually, it was the second. Yeah, it was the second. Then in the third, we got abilities. That's huge. That is huge because in the fourth, we got natures. The reason, or maybe we had in the third, we also had natures. Wow, holy shit, I forgot. But I believe in the third, we also had natures, yes. Basically, those are huge bonuses because they influence every Pokemon out there. So if they can actually implement something similar to this, or maybe like a third ability, or an additional statistic that we have not had yet, or an additional nature, that you like 2 natures or something like that, that would make Pokemon that we are so familiar with completely change, and format would be swapped around. Little things like that would make competitive so much more fresher for me, and that would most likely bring me back, because I need that little change, and that change did not happen yet. We've seen Mega Evolutions, but Mega Evolutions are restricted. We're talking a couple of Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, but not like a specific change that will influence every Pokemon out there. That's huge. And that could be risky for the Game Freak, and they know this, but they would definitely put the competitive upside down, and that would be amazing, because we need that. We need that upside down feeling again. Being familiar with the stats and not having any like real changes to the stats, and not having any additional things that would influence the Pokemon that we are familiar with, kind of makes the game repetitive. And I've used this Pokemon like so many times in so many games that it just feels like, yeah, it's not enough, you know. So that would definitely change it for me. I would be in a complete bother if I see something regarding like the influence it had, the abilities like it had the influence, natures like it had the influence, the special defense being implemented in the newest generations, in the first generation that it was not. That would be huge. But we're gonna see if that's gonna happen. Anyways, that is my 2 cents on the matter regarding the newest Pokemon games. I hope you guys have enjoyed my little ramble here. Probably been doing something on the side, which is most smart. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Take care of yourself and have yourself a great rest of your day, night, or whichever time zone you are in. And stay healthy, because that is the most important thing. Peace.